Welcome to Doug in Exile, where we give you some right-leaning political commentary. I'm an award-winning comic book artist, video game designer, and animator, one of the few Christians in the industry. Let's get to MSNBM. Here's the commentary on the Trump scandal.
Despite the serious new allegations against former President Donald Trump, new polling shows that Republican voters are more concerned about that indictment being politically motivated than his actions potentially being a national security risk.
This is a huge sick burn. Once again, it's backfiring as they go after Trump. We're going to look at this poll here. We don't fear Trump having documents that he already saw as president, nor do we fear him having them, nor do I fear him lying about them, what we fear even more so is that this case is politicized against Trump. That is, we fear the Department of Justice, the FBI, the government system in general is scarier than Trump.
Asked which of the two concerns, 76% of likely GOP primary voters say they're more worried about the indictment being politically motivated.
And that's because working class people who've actually gone out and gotten blisters and calluses on their fingers, are very different than this New York set or DC establishment people that don't understand it. Even their Republican rhino cocktail parties. They don't understand how much we despise the government breaking into our lives, jamming the rainbow down our throats, hiring 80,000 IRS agents to investigate us. That's what these people don't understand. We see that as a bigger danger than Trump having government documents at his house illegally.
And it's also important to appreciate that a lot of Republican voters get a lot of this information very differently, whether it's certain networks they watch or whatever it may be.
Yes, Republican voters, we get our information elsewhere. We talk to each other, or we just watch the news and we have our crap detector set to high. We can see you guys lying every time you move your mouth. And in general, we're not fooled.
There is a very deeply held sense that there are forces in Washington who are out to get Donald Trump.
Maybe I wonder what evidence we have. Maybe him being impeached twice, like no other president's ever been impeached. Maybe all the investigations already. Maybe Alvin Bragg going after him purely all of this timed during an election year. This is all a scam. Maybe that's why. I mean, who could what he's going like? Can you imagine? People think the government's just going after Trump.
One of the problems that Ron DeSantis, for example, has had, who's tried to make that argument, I think, is that there are plenty of polls that show Donald Trump within striking distance or even beating Joe Biden in a hypothetical matchup. So you really need to chip away at that. If your goal is to say, I'm more electable than Donald Trump, here's a great opportunity to say, this may not be a person who's going to get elected if he's potentially facing jail time.
DeSantis is not going after Trump on this because he also knows that the government is unfairly targeting him. So even though DeSantis is running against Trump, I encourage him to. I want to cover this side of the whole thing is, what does DeSantis do with this? You weigh in and you defend Trump. You can go after Trump on a lot of other reasons, but you can't go after him and pretend like you agree with a corrupt government trying to take him out as a candidate.
But so many base Republican voters never hear that conversation. That's why it's really incumbent upon his opponents, I think, to bring that up and force the question.
Yeah, the DeSantis campaign has sort of whispered to allies and reporters alike, saying, hey, we think that these criminal investigations could help take Trump down. But they haven't moved on it yet. 2 indictments already. There could be more. We'll have to see if the GOP primary field changes tactics.
Yeah, the GOP primary field, I know that they're running against Trump. They have to take out Trump, but this is not the way to take him out. You try and take him out agreeing with Democrats and the FBI, and that's what Chris Christie's going to do, by the way. You do it to agree with them, you just lost. Here's Chris Christie in his begging campaign. Chip in $1 today. Get me on the debate stage. He has to raise enough money to get him on the debate stage. Here's my question to you in the comments. What percentage of Democrats, what percentage of Chris Christie's money he raises is going to come from Democrats? They're the only ones who want him on the stage. I'm Doug in Exile.